Hello, everyone. Well, a very good morning to you. Now, before I get into the topic, I just wanted to give you a brief intro about myself. Okay. My name is Amit. I'm from Bangalore, India, and I have more than 15 years of experience in the training industry. Uh, well, Let me tell you the kind of stuff I cover. I'm a soft skills trainer, come a life skills mentor, come a motivational speaker, and also a counselor. In fact, a few years back, one of my life skills sessions, it was an entire day session. It was also covered by the press. The journalists from the Hindu newspaper had come and they had covered the entire program. And then next day, an article was published in the Hindu publication. In fact, that life skills session was awesome. And the title of that workshop was Winning is an Attitude. And this is completely true. And during that one day session, I had covered all the life skills topics which can help people to grow and develop themselves. And as a counselor, I have come on television many times. Whenever there has been a social issue in Bangalore or Karnataka, uh, the news channel out here, that is News 9. TV9 is most of the Kannada programs come there, but News 9, most of the English programs come there. So whenever there has been a social issue in Bangalore, the studio has called me to their News 9 studio to participate in discussions and give my views on those topics. Okay. So this is a brief intro about myself. Most importantly, my whole life, or a major part of my life, I have been mentoring people. I have been mentoring people. Right from the youth to the working professionals, I've been mentoring them. Now, let's dive straight into the topic. Today's topic is how do we overcome stage fear? Now, the moment I talk about stage fear, you would have guessed by now that this is directly related to giving presentations on the stage, or being a public speaker. And stage fear is in the initial stage when a person wants to become a good public speaker or wants to give a good presentation on stage. In the initial stages, he or she excuse me he or she faces one of the biggest roadblocks, and which is stage fear. Now, before I get into the actual topic, I have a humble request. I want all of you to be completely focused and make this eye contact with me and listen to whatever I'm saying. And I'll tell you the reason why. Most of the individuals are not able to achieve their goals because either they're in the past or they're in the future. Right now it is 12:30 in the afternoon. Well, past can be in the morning, 8 o'clock. Future can be in the evening, 6 p.m. And what happens is, either I'm thinking about the morning or I'm thinking about the evening, or let's say I'm thinking about yesterday or 2 years back what happened, or I'm thinking about tomorrow or 2 years going forward what will happen. Either we are in the past or in the future, and we miss out the present. And so for me, and this is something I'm teaching you, for me, because in the present also there is a past and future. As I said, if it's 12:30 now, past is in the morning, 8 a.m., and future is in the evening, 6 p.m. So in the present also, there is a past and future. What you and me, what all of us need to master is being in the here and now. Being in the here and now. For example, if it's 12:30 right now, I am completely, fully present in 12:30. I'm present physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I am in the moment. And if you and me, if all of us can master this art to be in the moment and give 100% input into that moment, definitely definitely will get 100% output, which is usually a very good result out of that moment. So my humble request is, as we go along this session, I want you to be in the here and now. Don't think about what happened in the morning. Don't think about what's going to happen in the evening or tomorrow or whatever. Just be in the here and now, and then you will see you will learn a lot and you will benefit a lot. Okay, so let's move on. Now, when we talk about stage fear, now before I get into that, please understand there are two sets of emotions, positive, negative. And we say that in the negative emotions, fear is the mother of all negative emotions. Fear of exams, fear of interviews, fear of rejection, fear of the stage fear. And it's really bad. Fear can actually put someone in a box. It can actually paralyze that person. And he or she will not be able to function in that moment by giving 100% because he or she is filled with that fear. Now, let's come back to stage fear now. Let's go very specifically to the stage fear thing. Now, if you think about stage fear, now if this was a seminar hall or an auditorium and I'm on the stage and you all are sitting in the chairs, I would have actually looked down on the stage and explained. But since this is an online session, so let us assume that this is where the stage is. So when I talk about stage fear, and I'm looking down, this is the stage. Okay, let's assume this is the stage. Can I see fear there on the stage? Can I see fear somewhere there on the stage? Can I see? No, right? So what does it mean? Fear is not on the stage. Fear is here, within us. Question, why? Why do I have this fear? Answer, probably 2-3 reasons. Number one, will I make mistakes? Now I'll ask you one question. If I don't make mistakes, how will I learn? I always tell the students, I have a very different kind of thinking pattern, okay? Others may tell students not to make mistakes. I actually tell students, make mistakes. Because if you don't make mistakes, you will not learn. And most of us, in the fear of not making a mistake, we don't even try. And so we don't go on the stage thinking, if I go, I'll make a mistake. My dear, who doesn't make mistakes? You, me, all of us, we make mistakes. And we make mistakes, we learn and we grow and we mature. And that is what life is all about. So we should never fear of making mistakes. You getting the point? Nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. The audience sitting in front of you, suppose you're giving a presentation from stage and there's an audience in front of you. The audience sitting in front of you, they're also not perfect. In fact, if I call them on the stage, probably they'll be, shivering out of fear. So, don't bother about making mistakes, because if we don't make mistakes, how will we learn? So chill, relax. So that is one of the reasons, that the fear of making mistakes. Number two, the fear of the audience. Suppose there are 100 people out there. 100 people means 200 eyes looking at me. I am like, fully conscious. Will they like my presentation? What if they don't like? What if they don't clap at the end of my talk? What if they don't approve of me? Approve. Please listen to this word. Do you know there are almost 500 different kinds of addictions? Drugs, alcohol, smoking. This is only the beginning stage. Somewhere near the 200th or 300th position, there is an addiction called approval addiction. always seeking approval, always wanting to please everyone, always wanting to be in the good books of everyone. Everyone should like me. And because of that, we suffer from very low self-esteem and we are not able to reach our goals because we always try to fit into places where, or fit into some friend circle so that they approve me and they like me and etc. And you know something, most of the youth have landed in big problems just because of this seeking approval from their friend circle. I don't need the approval of the audience. Please understand. The audience in front of me, they are not some god sitting out there. They are as human as me. They make as many number of mistakes, maybe more number of mistakes than me. So chill, relax. So if I don't bother about making mistakes, if I don't bother about what the audience is going to think about me, and I just be natural, and of course I prepare on the topic, and I just go on the stage being natural and give a presentation, trust me, I'll do well. Let me give you 3 examples. One is mine, and there are 2 more examples, one a student and one a working professional. Okay, as I told you earlier in my introduction that I've come on television many times. So in the initial stage, around almost 8-10 years back, the first time when News9 channel called me, first time, I didn't have shoes. My shoes were all torn up. So I was just dressing up and wearing chappals and just leaving the house. And I told my mom, I said, Ma, I'm just going, I have to go to the studio. So my mom saw me wearing chappals and she said, you're going to the TV station or TV studio wearing chappals? I mean, what will people think, And this is one of the biggest problems of a society. What will people think? And I just looked at my ma, and in a very assertive tone, I told Ma, I said, Ma, they want to listen to me, not see my chappals. And I don't care whether I'm wearing chappals or shoes. My chappals or shoes or my blazer does not make me. I know what I am. So I'm going. And Ma knows me too well. She has a lot of respect for me as I respect her so much. And she understands. When I speak something like this, she understands. She says, okay, fine. You whatever you are happy with, you do that. And I actually wore my chappals with a decent pant and a shirt, and I went to the studio. And there was there was a psychiatrist, there was this another doctor, there was a social worker, and me as a counselor. We were all sitting, and I was in my chappals. And the whole session went beautifully. In fact, most of these other speakers, they were asking my suggestions on that particular issue, and I was giving more number of suggestions. Question: if I had worn shoes or blazer or a suit or a tie, does that make me? No. I want you to understand what I'm trying to tell you. Yes, wearing a suit or a blazer or a tie and a shoe, it looks good. If your attire is good, it looks good. But that doesn't make you. That doesn't make your personality. And your personality should not be based on the exteriors. It should be based on what you believe in yourself. And by the way, also I want to point out something else, very important. That was the first day when I went on TV, and subsequently after that I went a couple of times. I did not inform one soul that I'm coming on television. Usually what is the human tendency? Suppose someone is coming on television, you have a tendency of, informing your friends and relatives, hey, I'm coming on TV, and you want that, the center, what do you call that? Center of attraction, people should look at you and all that. Not me. not me. I did not inform one soul. And after I appeared for a couple of episodes and all that, and then people or my friend circle and all, they came to know from other sources that I'm coming on TV and I'm giving knowledge on a lot of life skills and all that. And then they started calling me or messaging me, Amit, please let us know next time when you come on TV. Even we want to learn, When they said we want to learn, then I said, okay, fine. And then going forward, whenever I went on TV, I used to inform people that, I'm coming on TV, you can, and I gave them the timing so they can watch it. I want you to understand this very carefully. You know what? Okay, I'm really sorry. The reason you would have seen there's a sudden dimness or darkness. Actually, there's load shedding in my house. I was taking this session through my phone in the house, and suddenly there's load shedding. And there's no light. So sorry for this sudden dimness in the light, whatever. But that's life. But let me continue, okay? So where was I? Okay, so yeah. So whether I come on TV or when I go on stage to give a session or take a session or something, I'm not bothered about what others are thinking. I just do my part in a natural way. And usually that comes out the best. Because I'm not carrying any extra baggage on me that, oh, will I make mistake? Oh, what will others think? Nothing like that. I'm just natural. Even now you see me talking, I'm just natural. The light went off, it went off, yaar. Current is not in my hands. Load shedding is, that's part of life. I'm not going to, okay, the current went off, there's darkness, blah, blah, blah. Should I stop this session and continue later? What will they think? I'm not bothered. I am what I am. Thankfully, my mobile phone has this light, as all mobile phones have. And that light is, it is hitting my face, and so we see some light. Okay, so thank God for that. Thank God for these small blessings. Okay, so that was about me. Second example, I told you I'll give you 3 examples. Second example, one engineering college, I won't mention the name, in Bangalore, final year students, and I was taking a topic on presentation skills. By the way, I'm only talking about stage fear. By the way, if we actually get into presentation skills, or if God gives me an opportunity to train you all on presentation skills, then there are actually 20 to 25 bullet points. There are 20 to 25 bullet points as to how do we move around on the stage. What are the do's and don'ts to be a good presenter? But that's a different topic altogether. That's a different session altogether. But right now we are focusing on how to overcome stage fear. Okay, so let's move on. So there was this engineering college, and and I was taking a session on presentation skills. Okay, there was this guy at the back, one of those backbenchers. So he comes to me and he whispers in my ear, Amit sir, can I go? I'm very nervous actually, but I've never gone on stage. I'm feeling nervous, but I want to go. I said, please go. And I'm a great encourager. I'm a great motivator. I always encourage students and I motivate them to come on stage and participate and all that. I said, please go. Then he tells me this. Listen to me. He says, but what if I get nervous? I said, chill, yaar. Be yourself. Be natural. He says, okay, fine. And then he goes with a lot of that, that motivation. He goes. And he starts off. And he talks and talks and talks. And that was one of the best presentations of the day. You know why? Because he connected. By the way, his English was bad. His English was actually pathetic. But who told you that presentation is about a language? Presentation is a connect from the speaker to the audience, a heart-to-heart connect. And this guy connected. He started cracking jokes and, and all the other students started laughing. He connected. And then I think he went to the stage for 2 minutes, but he actually took 7-8 minutes, and he said, okay, I'm going back now because other students have to come and all that. It's so sweet of him. And we all clapped for him, and he did great. He did great. I hope you're getting it. He was natural. He was not thinking about the mistakes. He was not thinking about the audience. He was just natural. And he did a great job. Third example. This was a company. I will not mention the company's name. And we were having this presentation skills session. And I was encouraging all the employees to come on stage, and I gave them topics that, to come on stage and talk. This particular guy was very nervous. He was actually shivering, and he came on stage. He spoke one line, and he started shivering, and he started crying. Imagine crying. Now don't give me that, boys crying and all. The boys do cry. I actually, when I take sessions for parents, I tell them, stop telling your sons don't cry. Stop telling this boys don't cry. This is all nonsense stuff. Boys cry, girls cry, everyone cries. And we should cry sometimes. It's important. It's needed. And he cried. But he was, because, the way our Indian kids are brought up, sometimes the upbringing is really wrong. But that's a different thing. And so he was feeling conscious because, of that upbringing that boys don't cry. And here he was crying. And the girls, ladies are there, gents are there. His manager is there in that seminar hall. And he's feeling, And I just put my hand on his shoulder. And I said, it's okay, relax. You want to go? You want to go and sit down? You want to try after some time? He says, no. I'm going to speak now. I said, okay. See, he went into his pocket, took out his handkerchief, wiped his tears, and he started again. Second time he spoke again, 3-4 lines. Again he started crying. Again I told him. I said, you want to sit down? It's okay. You can talk later. He says, no, Amit sir, I want to talk now. I said, okay, fine. Again he goes into his pocket, takes out his handkerchief, wipes his tears, again continues. Third time. Again he continues, again he cries. Now third time, I became a little more assertive and I told him, listen here, why don't you sit down, chill, relax, it's okay. You talk later. This guy, he shouted at me. But I loved his shouting. You know what he said in his words, in his shouting? That's why I loved it. He was so positive. He says, Amit sir, stop telling me to sit down. I don't want to sit down. I want to stop crying and I want to start talking. I said, wow. Wow, man. When I saw this kind of positive attitude, I said, fine, now I won't stop you. Continue, carry on. And to make the story short, he cried almost 8 to 9 times, and every time he wiped his tears, moved on. Wiped his tears, moved on. And I think, if I remember correctly, I think it was the 10th time, he cried 9 times, I think. He cried 9 times. The 10th time, he stopped crying. His tears dried up. His confidence came. And he carried on and carried on and carried on, and he finished at 15 minutes. The presentation was only for 3-4 minutes, but he took 15 minutes. And when I see someone is trying so hard, I will never stop them because I want them to overcome that stage fear. Why was he shivering? Why was he crying? Because of that stage fear, because of, but I think his age was some 25 plus. 25 years of stage fear. He overcame it in 15 minutes. Hats off to him. Now, listen, very important lesson. If there was anybody else, if he or she was crying and if I had asked him or her to go back and sit down, they would have gone and sat down. Why? Because everybody wants to go back to their comfort zone. They want to go back to that seat. But this guy was made of a different metal altogether. He had only one agenda. He had only one goal. I have to stop crying and I have to overcome my stage fear and I have to start speaking confidently. And he did it in 15 minutes. Number two, he was not bothered about the public, because remember, it's an office. Also, in companies, don't think in colleges only people gossip or students gossip. In companies also they gossip a lot. So he knew very well that after that seminar is over or the session is over, once these employees go out, for a break or something like that, they're going to gossip outside. Oh, this guy was crying and blah, blah, blah. He was not bothered about the gossip. He was not bothered what the audience is going to think about him. He was not bothered what they're going to talk behind his back later. He was not bothered. He was only focused on one thing, that I have to stop crying and I have to start speaking. And he did it. That's how you overcome stage fear. Now listen up. Let me wind up. There is no shortcut. There is no shortcut to come out of stage fear and be a good presenter or a good public speaker. There is no shortcut. But I'll tell you the solution. Take the initiative. Let's say there's an announcement in the company and they're calling for whatever, and they're inviting you to go give a talk or a presentation or something. Give your name. Let's say, listen to me very carefully, and I'm going to wind up with this. When you go to the stage first time to give a presentation, you will have 100% stage fear. That's okay. You go to the stage with that 100% stage fear, with that shivering, shaking and all that. Go to the stage with that 100% stage fear. Now, when you go first time to the stage with that 100% stage fear, when you go and sit down, you'll go back and sit down with 70% fear, stage fear, 30% confidence. Next time when you get an opportunity again to come on the stage, go on the stage again. Next time when you come on the stage, you'll come on the stage with 70% stage fear. And when you go and sit down, you'll go and sit down with 50% stage fear, 50% confidence. Third time, when you have an opportunity to go on stage, go on stage. Now when you're going on stage the third time, you're going with 50% stage fear. Now when you go back and sit down, probably you'll go back and sit down with 20% stage fear, 80% confidence. And maybe the fourth time, when you get a chance, when you get an opportunity to go on stage to give a talk or a presentation, and when you come on stage with 20% stage fear, when you go back and sit down, even that 20% will disappear and you will go back with 100% confidence. That's how you do it. Now, listen to me very carefully. I'm going to end with something beautiful. This is something I had written on Facebook, on my Facebook timeline a few years back. Listen to me very carefully. High self-confidence. Remember, I'm not talking about mediocre confidence. I'm not talking about average confidence. I'm talking about high self-confidence. So listen to me carefully. High self-confidence comes from high self-esteem, my self-esteem. My high self-confidence comes from my high self-esteem. And my high self-esteem comes from what do I think about myself, not what people think about me. What do I think about myself? Now, if I'm the kind of a guy or a girl who always compares himself with others and I keep on, looking down on myself that, I'm not good, he's better than me, she's better than me. Now, if I keep on doing that, then I'm always comparing myself with others and I always look down on myself and my capabilities, etc. You know what will happen? I will start loving and respecting myself less. And if I start loving and respecting myself less, my self-esteem will go down. And if my self-esteem goes down, automatically my confidence level goes down. And if my confidence level goes down, it's very, very difficult for me to be successful in life. Well, thank God the current came, and I'm going to end with this. But see the other side. See the other side. And this is the other side which I want you to practice from today. From today, tell yourself, I am the best in the world. But of course, remember, don't say it with pride, say it with humility. Be humble and believe in yourself and tell yourself, I am the best in the world. I am the best man, I am the best woman, I am the best son, I am the best daughter, I am the best husband, I am the best wife, I am the best mother, I am the best father. When you start appreciating yourself and telling yourself you're the best, like I'm the best, with a humble attitude, you will start loving and respecting yourself more. And when you start loving and when you start loving and respecting yourself more, your self-esteem will go up. And once your self-esteem goes up, automatically your confidence level goes up. And if your confidence level goes up and reaches the roof, you got it. You got it. And you will be successful and happy in life. And in case, listen to me, in case if anybody passes any negative comment about you, it's okay, chill. Forgive that person. And whatever he or she said, please understand what I'm saying. If someone passed any negative comment about you, first of all, don't take it to heart. Second of all, forgive him or her. Thirdly, believe in yourself that I'm the best and God loves me and I have a beautiful future. I have all the capabilities, all the skills in me to make it big. I was born to succeed. Okay? Chalo, let's end this out here. You take care, be safe, have a great day. Bye-bye.